Snapdragon 630 and 660 are Qualcomm's latest mobile platforms for mid-range devices. The Snapdragon 630 and 660 are both based on a 14nm process. They both have octa-core 2.2 GHz CPUs. However, the 630 uses Cortex A53 cores, whereas the 660 uses Qualcomm's custom Cairo 260 cores, so that the 660 may be more optimized than the Snapdragon 630. The Snapdragon 630 has an Adreno 508 GPU, and the Snapdragon 660 has an Adreno 512 GPU. The main difference between these two GPUs is the maximum screen resolution. The 508 supports up to a 1200 by 1920, and the 512 supports up to a 1600 by 2560. The Snapdragon 630 supports LPDDR4 RAM, whereas the 660 has support for LPDDR4 XRAM. There is also a difference in RAM speed: 1333 MHz for the Snapdragon 630 and 1866 MHz for the 660. Both have the same maximum RAM amount, which is 8 GB. One of the biggest differences between the Snapdragon 660 and 630 is the Wi-Fi. The Snapdragon 630 has a maximum speed of 433 megabits per second, and the Snapdragon 660 has a maximum speed of 867 megabits per second. The Snapdragon 660 also has support for the 160 MHz Wi-Fi channel, whereas the Snapdragon 630 only has support for the 20, 40, and 80 MHz Wi-Fi channels. 2x2 MIMO is also exclusive to the Snapdragon 660. The Snapdragon 630 only has support for 1x1 MIMO. Some Wi-Fi features are exclusive to the Snapdragon 660 as well. The ability to use the 2.4 and 5 GHz Wi-Fi band simultaneously in a feature called DBS is exclusive to the Snapdragon 660. And also the ability to share Wi-Fi over your LTE connection is exclusive to the Snapdragon 660. The Snapdragon 630 has a Qualcomm Hexagon 640 DSP, and the Snapdragon 660 has a Qualcomm Hexagon 680 DSP. The main difference between the two is the support for HBX on the 680, which isn't on the 642, meaning that you can offload tasks like video processing and camera post-processing and camera streaming to the DSP for better performance and lower power consumption than if they were to be handled on the CPU. The Snapdragon 660 also has the hardware token security feature, which allows biometrics to be used instead of a password in apps and websites.